Hi and welcome to Quizzes for You. I've got an awesome quiz for you today and here's how we'll play. There's 60 questions. The first will be quite easy-ish, 20 mixed general knowledge questions followed by 10 picture questions. Then we'll move on to the medium section, another 20 questions there, and then we'll finish with Ben's Tough 10, the most difficult part of the quiz. But you might surprise yourself and do better on that section than on another section. It does happen, so let's have a look at what you're aiming for with the scoring. I'll put that up again at the end of the quiz so that you can check how you did. So if you're ready, here we go. Which luxury brand is credited with popularising the suit for women? Burberry, Armani or Chanel? The answer, Chanel. Which is named after German chemist Robert Bunsen? The Bunsen burner, rocket or radio? And who can forget that from school, the Bunsen burner? Isambard Kingdom Brunel was an English what? Engineer, painter or explorer? He was an engineer. Falabella is a small breed of which animal? Is it a cow, a sheep or a horse? It is a horse. Which term means that material can be decomposed by natural means? Bioactive, biodegradable, or biosynthetic? The correct choice there, biodegradable. What nationality was Alessandro Volta, who invented electric batteries? German, Dutch, or Italian? He was Italian. In the Flintstones, who is married to Barney? Is it Betty, Sue or Wilma? It is Betty. Jimmy Choo is famous for designing which items? Computers, watches or shoes? The answer is shoes. Which tree is affected by the Dutch disease? Is that elm, oak or beech? That is Dutch elm disease. Insects' legs are attached to which part of their body? The abdomen, head or thorax? They are attached to the thorax. What gas are the bubbles in a bottle of champagne? Nitrogen, oxygen or carbon dioxide? They are carbon dioxide. What did the Romans call Scotland? Gaul, Caledonia or Cambria? And do you know where the other two were? The correct one here, Caledonia. Which of these countries lies the furthest north in Europe? Estonia, Norway or Denmark? And in the UK we usually say furthest, not farthest. The answer is Norway. Which of these large marine mammals has two tusks? A manatee, a walrus or a narwhal? The one with two tusks is a walrus. Which continent has the fewest cars per capita? South America, Australia or Africa? That is Africa. What would a scientist described as a mycologist study? Fungi, bacteria or viruses? The answer is fungi, or fungi if you prefer. What is the capital of Libya? Tunis, Damascus or Tripoli? It is Tripoli. Italian explorer Giovanni Caboto is better known in English as John, James or Henry Cabot. He is John Cabot. What name is given to the study of the paths taken by projectiles? Is that kinetics, aeronautics, or ballistics? That is ballistics. A ferrous material always contains which element? Tin, iron, or zinc? The answer is iron. If you're enjoying the quiz so far, please give it a thumbs up. Our next section is the picture round. 10 picture questions, let's play. Which image is Mount Kilimanjaro? A, B, or C? That is A. Which image shows opal? The correct one there is C. Which image shows the glabella? That is A, between the eyebrows. Which image is Germany's Brandenburg Gate? That is B. Which is a durian? They look quite similar, but the correct answer there is C. Which is a proboscis monkey? That is A. Which is US President Theodore Roosevelt? That is him in the middle. Which is the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona? That is A. Which is an F-15 Eagle? Do you know your planes? That is C. And which is a piranha? That is B. Okay, they weren't too bad, were they? Let's up the ante a little bit with the medium round. Let's play. The term global warming was first used by geochemist Wallace Broker in which year? 1999, 75 or 40? In 1975. Sergio Mattarella has been serving as the president of where since 2015? Mexico, Peru or Italy? The answer, Italy. Who is the only US president to have served more than 2 terms? John F. Kennedy, Franklin D. Roosevelt or Richard Nixon? The answer, Franklin D. Roosevelt. What name is used in physics for spinning water like a whirlpool? Is that a cortex, a vertex, or a vortex? That is a vortex. What is the official residence of the French president? The Palace of Versailles, Élysée Palace, or Montmartre? It is Élysée Palace. Calamine lotion and cream is primarily composed of which element? Magnesium, zinc, or copper? The answer is zinc. Which diamond pattern takes its name from a famous clown? Harlequin, Apollo, or Pierrot? The answer, Harlequin. Charles Baudelaire is one of the most famous poets from which country? France, Belgium, or the Netherlands? The answer is France. What does a speleologist explore? Caves, forests, or oceans? The answer is caves. The Kingdom of Kandy was a monarchy on which modern-day island? Singapore, Madagascar or Sri Lanka? The answer is Sri Lanka. Osteoclasts are special cells that help your what? Skin, bones or hair? The answer is bones. Which cartoon character has Bluto as his arch rival? Donald Duck, Mighty Mouse or Popeye? That is Popeye. The bouzouki is a long-necked instrument from which country? Spain, Greece or Russia? That's from Greece. The Beaufort scale measures which? Electrical current, earthquakes or wind speed? It measures wind speed. Which bird lays the largest eggs relative to its body size? The kiwi, emu or ostrich? That is the kiwi. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote about pilgrims going to which city? Rome, Jerusalem or Canterbury? The answer, Canterbury. NASA landed the Perseverance rover on which planet in 2021? Mercury, Mars or Venus? That was on Mars. What type of dancing is associated with Margot Fonteyn? Tap, ballet or jazz? The answer, ballet. Which city is the setting for 70s movie Saturday Night Fever? Chicago, Boston or New York? That was set in New York City. The ancient Appian Way led to which city? Rome, Athens or Cairo? That led to Rome. Now it's time for the last 10 questions, which is Ben's Tough 10. If you get more than half of these correct, you certainly know your stuff. I wish you good luck. Let's play the last 10. Which of these compounds can be used to neutralise strong acid? Hydrochloric acid, carbon dioxide or calcium hydroxide? That is calcium hydroxide. Which needlework technique involves stitching pieces of fabric onto other fabric for decoration? Cross-stitch, smocking or applique? That is applique. Hector the Convector is a storm system that occurs every year in what country? Australia, Ireland or Canada? The answer, Australia. Sectilis became which month of the year when it was renamed? April, August or December? It became August. John Buchan wrote a famous adventure novel about how many steps? 79, 59 or 39? The answer, 39. The oldest ever Olympic participant and medalist competed in which event? Archery, fencing or shooting? The answer is shooting. He who thinks little errs much is a quote attributed to which historical figure? Leonardo da Vinci, William Shakespeare or Albert Einstein? That was Leonardo da Vinci. 1001 Nights is a collection of folk tales in which language? Hebrew, Egyptian or Arabic? They are in Arabic. Which of these is a dwarf planet? Temple 1, Shoemaker-Levy 9 or Ceres? The answer is Ceres. Which country has a national dish called feijoada? Mexico, Brazil or Spain? That is Brazil. So how did you do? Here's the scoring. Let me know in the comments down below how you got on. I hope you enjoyed this format. I've tried to mix a little bit of my other channel, QuizAmp, in with what I usually do on Quizzes for You. If you haven't already checked out QuizAmp, I'll put a link for you here. Go check it out. It's a fun quiz game. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again on another video.